Shall we begin?
You aren't stuck in traffic. You are traffic.
Let's begin now.
Please get that bicycle-shaped object out of this shop. Oh no, dude. No mix and match here. Black bottoms or full-on kit. Pedal on, bro. Pedal on.
Let's begin now.
Oh, geez. Learn the hard way. Wider is better.
Today is Friday, February 8th, 2019. You just downloaded and are listening to Bike Shop CX. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading, everyone. Music we're using on the show today is, as always, Be Jew by Philly Run. You can pick this up at the Free Music Archive where you can download it for free. On today's show, we're going to talk about the tech that we saw at Worlds. One part is the tech, the new stuff from SRAM. We're just going to give a quick overview and talk about it a little bit because it's so cool. The embargo on that stuff has been lifted, so it's okay to talk about. And then we're going to talk, of course, about the pit fiasco that happened in the elite women's race and what goes on happened there and our opinions and tell you what we thought we saw. So that'll be coming up. Of course, we're gonna do viewer questions at the end. We have some really fun. We got only really one, I think, question, and the rest are just mostly fun stuff that we're doing. Also, we're announcing the winners of the Grimpeur Brothers coffee contest. We'll be picking the five people that win stuff, t-shirts, and some of the wonderful Grimpeur Brothers coffee, so look forward to that coming up. And of course, what are you working on? So, as always, this show is a part of the Wide Angle Podium Network, proud members of the Wide Angle Podium Network. If you get a chance, get on over to wideanglepodium.com and become a member. If you like listening to this show, if you have fun listening to it, be one of the people that actually support the network and support the show. We really, really appreciate all of the members that we have, and it's really, really helpful. So thank you so much to everybody that has pledged and is a member, or if you're thinking about it, thanks to you too. All right, I think that's enough of my yapping. Let's get on with it. The bike shop is open. All right, we're back for another edition of Bike Jump CX. With alongside me on my left, as always,
Mr. David Palin.
What's up, Mr. David Palin?
What's going on?
Our first show of February, our first post-World Championship show.
I know. People would say like the end of the season, but no, it's not over quite yet.
It's always a big, February sucks in Michigan in general. And February sucks even worse once Worlds are over.
Yeah, because you get in all that hype, excitement, and this year we had like 3 amazing races over the World Championship.
Yes, 3 out of 5
Yeah.
wasn't bad.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
yeah, and then it's also that whole weather component. We had the polar vortex leading into that with sub-zero temperatures, and then as February does, you get that little bump. We went from negative 20 sans wind chill, right?
Without the wind chill was like negative 40, but yeah.
On a Thursday, I think, maybe Friday it was.
Right.
And Monday was 52 degrees.
70-degree turnaround.
Yeah, a 70-degree turnaround. And then
like
that
30
Sunday, I
hours.
got to get out for a ride. We may hear about that. I don't know. And then it's back down to...
It's like 16 today or
16
something
today,
crazy.
and it's snowing and blowing. I don't know if you were up in the middle of the night last night. My dogs decided that
Did you have to get up early this morning?
I was up.
Where did you have to go?
Spin, baby. LA Fitness.
I just wanted to throw that in there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been up since 3:45.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was windy this morning. It was crazy windy this morning.
Yeah, it's been very windy all day, but or all night it was. So cyclocross.
So is this cyclocross weather? I never know.
This is cyclocross weather.
Yeah, okay.
I guess. And we got some tech stuff to talk about that happened at Worlds. That's what we're going to talk about today.
We always talk about pit etiquette and
some pit
what
issues.
goes on with the pit.
Evidently, there were some issues in the pit.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to read up on that real quick. And then some new technology that was released at Worlds. We're not going to go in depth with the new SRAM stuff, but
we should talk to somebody because we know somebody that probably knows.
Are you talking about Sven Ballman?
I'm talking about Sven Ballman.
Yeah, maybe. And at some point later on, we'll go into more in depth about what's going on with that because it's pretty cool.
It's cool.
So we just want to kind of mention it and just some basics about it, and that the embargo has been lifted.
Indeed.
So we got that to talk about, and then we got listener questions. So
that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So, but Mr. David Pound, before we do any of that, what are you working on?
I'm working on developing some road skills again.
What?
Yeah.
In February.
As I mentioned to you.
Well, it's 50 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was out on the 30-degree day as we were ramping up to that 50 degrees. But as I mentioned to you, I think, and to our viewers, I did have a bit of a crash about a month ago and was off the bike for a bit. Was working on just being able to sit up on the bike and ride again, which worked good. Then I've been on the trainer for a while, Zwifting. I'm MDVP out there if people want to ride with me out on Zwift. Whatever
You're
you
welcome
do,
to
follow,
come.
look, tweet, whatever. I'm not even sure how the whole Zwift thing works, but I'm out there. I'm looking for our listeners out there. And our viewers even more so. So go on Zwift and let's hook up for a ride sometime. It tends to be super early in the morning, U.S. East Coast time.
Yeah.
But it was finally that itching, as you know, I've been doing a Sunday ride outside year-round for years.
And it's almost always a dirt road ride.
Almost always.
But not always. Is it always?
Always.
Always.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I thought you were going to lead into your road ride there, but go ahead.
No, but this week we got out, and I got out with Justin McNally. You remember Justin from Coast to Coast? He rode with us for a bit, has been training with us. He's been coming for a while, just finished his PhD. Congratulations. So we haven't seen him for like 6 months as he's burying himself to finish that thing. But he and I got out, and we started down, Park Road over there.
Now, this is on your road bike?
No, this is on my Colnago,
baby. Okay.
All right. Colnago is glued back together and riding.
So it was a road ride, but it was a dirt road ride. I got you. Okay. All right. Yep.
And it was that kind of crunchy snow.
Yeah.
Covered roads with some gravel on top.
That can be okay
gritty.
to ride on. It's not.
Yeah,
it's
and we're
not
like, okay,
real
this is good,
crazy
right?
slippery. Yeah.
We should be good. And we get out, and as the day progressed a little bit, and the sun came out a little bit, and now there were sections where my roller training was coming in really cool.
Right.
Right? And the bike's kind of going uphill sideways, that crab motion that it does. I managed to keep the bike upright through all of it. I was so proud of myself and psyched. And it's that difference of feeling, even as good as Zwift is in changing how hard you're pedaling when you're going uphill or downhill.
Yeah, it's still not the road.
There's a freedom when that bike moves forward while you're pedaling. It just is.
Right.
And that just felt so good to be out there. Then we get to the corner of two roads, as that tends to happen.
Right.
And I could see up the road, it's a sheet of ice with water streaming right to left.
Yeah, see,
west to
people
east.
that don't ride in really serious cold might not understand that it actually... Sometimes it's a little bit better for it to stay cold, stay below freezing, and you actually get better traction than when it starts to warm up and you get that what's really slippery is that thin layer of water
on top
of ice. I mean, that's what
that's how
skating,
skates work, right?
Right. The pressure on the blades creates a thin layer of water. So, that can be much worse than when it stays cold.
Yeah.
So, all right, you see this.
So I have this, and I know. Doesn't matter now, right? Canty's disc brakes doesn't matter.
Right. That's not
as soon as the wheels stop turning,
the weak link.
It's not going to stop the bike, right? That's not the issue here. And we're coming up to an intersection.
In fact, no brake, unless there's cars coming, no brakes might have been the way to go.
Right. It's like, okay, tripod out, take my left foot out, put it towards the ground, right foot out, put my left foot on the ground, and as the bike is kind of rolling to a stop or sliding, and my feet are sliding, as soon as I came to a full stop, my feet just went out from under me. And it wasn't a crash per se, more of like that. A fall, like when you first start using clipless pedals.
Right.
And now I'm laying on my side in a puddle on top of ice.
Soaking wet, right, yeah.
We're like, okay.
At least one foot was clipped out, right?
Both of them were.
Okay.
We took that left turn, went through one of the nature cuts, the what we used to call paper roads, the roads that don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Went through that. We get onto pavement. And we took pavement all the way home and said, we're going to stay safe.
Yeah.
But
even
good.
that, because a lot of times that's black, it can be a little bit warmer and you still get that water coming
and you get that
across
black ice too.
Yeah,
But we were really lucky.
Yeah.
Made it home safe. So, it felt great to be out. And we think we made the
it just
better
goes to
life
show
choices
you,
there.
everyone, if anyone's a beginning cyclist, like I tell people, like you mentioned, like starting to learn on clipless, you're only ever between falls.
Oh, yeah.
Right? People, they get so nervous about falling. I'm like, you can't be nervous about falling. I'm telling you right now, you are going to fall someday.
Yeah. And it's not while you're nervous. You're going to fall when you're confident.
Right. You're going to fall when you're 100 yards from your driveway and you're thinking about what am I going to have for lunch, and you lose concentration and down.
It's either there or at the busiest intersection, and not with the most cars, but with the most pedestrians standing around watching.
And then you go down.
And you go down, and they all look at you and say, why?
What is that person doing?
Yeah. They say why, which reminds me, I have another question.
Yeah.
What you working on?
What am I? Last thing I worked on. Okay, so I have this friend who is a randonneer rider.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Dave, he does it, and he does it right, man. He's like old school. Steel Schwinn Voyager, which is one of the few Schwinn bikes that I like. I like the Paramount, the Voyager, and the Passage. Those are the only three.
I don't remember the Passage, but the Voyager.
The Passage was a step down from the Voyager.
Okay. Yep.
But still really high, really quality bike. Those are the only three Schwinns. I'm not talking about the collectible Schwinns like a Stingray.
Right.
Those are cool too and all that. But all the other ones, I don't really care for much. But
the Schwinn Twin.
The Schwinn Twin. I mean, it's got a coolness factor to it for sure. But anyways, he's got a Schwinn Voyager that he does randonneer rides on, flat pedals.
Flat.
Yeah, he doesn't clip in.
No cages?
No not even cages. No. He just wears whatever shoes. He qualified for Paris-Brest Paris too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wears whatever shoes kind of he thinks will be comfortable for that ride. Mm-hmm. Wears like a lot of times like a button down short sleeve shirt.
A Brooks saddle.
Of course. Yep, of course. But he's got it down.
Is he wearing denim jean shorts?
No, not jean shorts. He has like wool cycling shorts.
Of course. What am I thinking? With a real chamois, leather chamois.
No, not a leather chamois. I forget. They just have a more modern chamois. They're not like old school shorts. But anyways, he's like done it so much. He's got it down to a sign. He carries one handlebar bag, right? And whatever if he can't fit it in that bag, it isn't coming, right?
Yeah.
And he layers up with his clothes. He's got the whole system down for, depending on what time of year it does. Where it likes to wear wool because it's still warm when you get wet. And he has great stories of people showing up to the rando rides, full carbon, all ready to go, Lycra, carrying nothing but a little saddlebag. And a lot of times they ask so I don't know if you know this, but randonneer rides, they have a time limit,
right?
But they also have a minimum time limit. You can't finish quicker than a certain time because then you didn't do the ride, probably.
Right. Yeah.
And they'll show up and ask what's the minimum time limit? They're going to be doing like 400K, right?
Right.
And they're showing up.
Show up
thinking,
immediately.
Yeah, I've done a century
Yeah.
before. I know what this is all about.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you don't understand what this is all. And he said they almost never finish. They just don't.
Yeah.
They have nothing but what's in their saddlebag, their little CO2 cartridge, and that's it. Halfway through something on their bike breaks and they got nothing to repair it with or something.
Yeah.
But anyways, so as you can imagine, he puts a lot of miles on his bike, right? So every year around this time, we put new bearings in his wheels. So he's got these cool Sun Tour high-end hubs, really nice hubs with sealed
cartridge. In the day, man, those Sun Tour hubs.
Yeah. Oh, they're awesome with sealed cartridge bearings in them. So we popped those out. I forgot to bring my press, my hub press. So the next week, that was just this past weekend, I helped him press in the new set after we had pulled the other ones out. We used that. I have the Enduro bearing puller, with the slide thing on it. Came right out, pressed in the new ones. That was that day we had that like 50-degree day, and I think he went out and busted out 35 miles, and off he goes. So
so viewers out there,
set for the year this year.
The reminder for our viewers out there: even a leather mallet is not the proper tool for putting
pounding in bearings.
Yeah.
No, it's always good to have a press to press those in. I mean, it's certainly gonna help extend the life of the hub shells.
Yeah.
The more you're pressing that thing in and out of there. And I don't think he's done it every year. Now that I think of it, I don't think we did it last year. So I think he actually got 2 years out of these bearings.
Nice.
But then,
and I'm sure they're just standard stainless steel bearings.
Nothing fancy. I think they're like $3 a piece or something. Very inexpensive. But he keeps them changed regularly. Takes good care of and they'll last him a season or two.
Obviously, this is a high mileage guy.
Yeah.
So it talks to
we're talking
take good care
mileage
of
in the 1,000, 6,000-7,000 miles.
Yep.
Over the summer. I mean, he does the 600K rides that the Detroit Randoneers do. I think and we probably have people that are into rando that listen to the show, but I forget the time limit for the 600K. Is it like, I want to say 32 hours?
I would have guessed 48, but it was just a guess.
It could be. 32 might be the 400K cut off.
Yeah.
And he's funny because he doesn't like push the rules. Like there'll be people that'll like, if you go off the course, you're supposed to backtrack to where you got off and get back on. But like he's like, sometimes it'll just be a road over there, so people will be like, shoot over and take the. But no, he'll go all the way back, and he's very
good for him, man.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool, and I just like that he does it all old school on a steel bike and just goes out and rocks it. So anyways, we got him set up for with his wheels for the season, and got the. Remember I told you about the guy that bought the wheel stuff?
Yes.
Yep. So his stuff is in, and so we'll be starting on that soon. So
that's
his
cool.
DT Swiss 350s and some DT Swiss rims that I don't remember he bought, and we'll be building those up soon. So
hey, quick follow-up.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit on the last show about Jesse Ramsey.
Yes.
We were talking about him going out in the polar vortex, as it turns out, to do this Arrowhead 135.
Oh, man.
He got to the first checkpoint.
Where was that?
Up in Minnesota.
Yeah. I think, they were like minus 50.
Yeah.
My dad lives in Minneapolis. I think he told me they were minus 50.
Yep. Made it to the first checkpoint and had issues with his knees.
Yeah.
Luckily, because Jesse's not always the guy that says, oh, I don't feel good, I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the guys that
people that do those events
tend
to have that kind of, you almost have to,
right? I mean, you are going to be uncomfortable. You know it going into it. And here he was.
So I'm going to push through the pain, and sometimes you got to realize, this is more than just...
Yeah, single-speed mountain bike and knee issues.
Yeah.
He stopped after or at the first stop, and... Congratulations to Jesse to get out there. I saw pictures of him all frozen and stuff. It's funny, of course, he had beardsicles hanging and all that stuff. And someone commented, he's like, I think there's some chicken in there and some other lunches that was stuck in the beard in the ice.
Nice. Good job, man.
Good job, Jesse.
That's
we
awesome.
are so proud of you.
Yeah, good. Well done.
Can't wait to see you on Sundays.
All right, so we're going to get on to talking about Worlds. There was an issue at Worlds in the pit. So,
tell me,
in case people have been living in a vacuum and don't know this, in the elite women's race on Saturday, Lucinda Brand comes into the pit.
Yes, she did.
One of the later
pit a lot too.
Pit changes. She did at least twice that we saw.
Yeah,
and basically hits the ground. And there's a kind of a fall that she has, gets back in, and then comes back in. Right behind Mariana Voss, I think, and then the two of them kind of got back on the group, the lead group, fairly quickly after that. But what I want to talk about is pit exchanges, Mr. David Palin.
Tell me about
We've
pit
talked
exchanges.
about this before, right?
So anything that ever goes wrong in the pit is always
the mechanic's fault,
right?
Yeah. The announcers of that race seemed to think that was the mechanic's fault. She comes into the pit, the mechanic catches the bike, and she hits the ground.
Yeah.
To say this is the mechanic's fault, to me, in my opinion, means you have no idea how a pit exchange works. That position in the pit, right? That person that is doing that is called what?
The catcher.
The catcher. Not the grabber. They don't pull. They don't do anything. The bike is delivered to that person, right? That person never, ever in any pit exchange that I have ever been a part of does that person decide in their mind, I'm going to take the bike now and pull it away.
All right.
That's not how this is done. It's just not part of the technique at all.
Okay, so viewers at home, there is a little bit of steam coming off his head, as you would imagine, because this is near and dear.
To blame that on the mechanic
hold on.
just absolutely ridiculous.
We're gonna talk a little bit more, and I'm gonna just pull you off the ledge, walk you back a little bit,
all right,
and we'll let's just dice it out a little bit and talk about it, right?
Yeah.
I'm a race announcer, so I'm certainly not going to take their side here. Don't get me wrong, okay? But so as you said, this person is supposed to be the catcher, and to say that it could never be their fault, well, if they indeed didn't wait for the exchange and pulled the bike out from under their rider, that could be their fault. They could share some blame at least.
Well, but here's the thing.
Hold on.
How would that can't even happen, though.
Hold on.
How would that happen?
It could happen.
How?
They come in with their left foot still on the pedal.
No.
Hanging over the bike.
No.
And still
the rider,
gliding in.
As the rider
and they pull the bike
comes
out from under them.
It's the rider's responsibility to pick up the catcher as they come in the pit lane, right? There's my catcher.
Yep.
Right? No matter wherever that person is, it doesn't really matter. There's my catcher.
Right.
I ride to my catcher, and I have to release the bike to my catcher.
And if the catcher takes the bike before the bike is released to them?
How could they do? The catcher stands still. The catcher does not move. I am standing here as the catcher, right? I don't move. My feet do not move. I'm standing here. The rider picks me up. This is why I like to wear like a bright
Orange
glove
gloves,
or something.
I know.
Yeah. The rider picks me up. I stand here until the bike comes into my hands. There is no way I can run up the course and pull the bike out early.
Okay.
It just can't. It's just not doesn't happen. It doesn't work that way.
Now,
Go ahead.
I'm trying to play a little bit of devil's advocate here.
Right.
And even in the case where it's not a delivery aspect, it's a yank by the mechanic. They could share some responsibility in that instance. You and I disagree a little bit here. But okay, just give me that. Right?
Yeah, okay.
That when you look at this in almost at regular speed, but certainly in slow motion, you see that's not the case in the Lucinda Brenda.
That's not what happens, right?
Right. Okay.
Even if that could happen, that's not what did happen. And that's why the reason that's not what happened is because it can't happen.
I don't know that it can't. But okay, we'll agree to disagree.
I don't see
sort
how,
of
I don't see
on
how,
the possibility of it happening.
All right.
We do agree on the fact that it didn't happen.
Right. Okay.
Right. And then here I'm gonna start by taking the side of Ant McCrossan and Simon Burney, and then I'm going to immediately jump off their side because here they are, right? They're watching a feed in a box, and they make an assessment.
Yes.
Albeit the wrong assessment, right?
In our opinion.
Right. Thank you. The wrong assessment. But it is their job to comment on what they see.
Okay, yeah.
Right? They don't have the benefit of analysis. They're as excited about this whole thing as we are. This is in their mind, and to some extent, this is
Get to the point, Mr. Dave.
a race changing event here.
Yes.
So they're going to be on it, and they're going to report on it, and they're breaking the story.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they should have just commented on the fact it happened. She went down. We don't know what happened, and on with the show.
Yeah.
But to not only comment on it, in my mind, incorrectly that it was the mechanic's fault, but then to harp on it and keep coming back to it.
To then and here's the other thing. Yeah, late in the race, one of them says, I think, if Brand doesn't go on to win this, it's a race decided by the mechanic.
No.
And the other one says, absolutely, 100%.
Right. It is.
I'm sorry. You're going to throw this. I know it was Lucinda Brand's father in the pit, right?
Yep.
You're going to throw, but they didn't know that at the time. You're going to throw this guy under the bus like that?
I'm not.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Doing the mechanic stuff is talk about a job that has in the state of cyclocross in the world right now. Talk about a job that has absolutely no glory to it, right? The mechanics don't get any hardly any recognition from anything. But the instant there's a perceived problem, they're going to completely throw the dude under the bus. I'm sorry. I have a huge problem with that.
Yeah,
in my opinion, that call is completely wrong. That is Lucinda Brand's, I don't want to say fault. It's just a mistake. Mistakes happen. I love Lucinda Brand. I think she is one of the shining things about women's cyclocross right now.
Right.
And I just think she's great, and I love having her in the field. That being said, Lucinda Brand was falling all over that course. She fell on the first lap. She was the first person to go down.
Yep.
Well, she did it in that one turn. She goes down, and it drops her back in the first place.
Oh, yes, you're right. Yep.
She fell on the off-camber twice.
Right. Yep.
Right?
And beyond all of this,
pit.
right? Beyond all of this, by making that comment, you're taking away from, and I'm not going to say flawless, but the quality of race that Sanikant raced.
Completely agree. Sanikant rode, in my opinion, as close to a perfect race as I've ever seen.
Right.
Watch that race. I've watched that race 4 times now.
Yep.
I find a mistake that she makes. I don't see where it is.
No.
I just do not see where it is.
And we always talk about the fact that cyclocross, every racer's for themselves, even if they're on a team. I don't know that the Dutch were riding as a team, but they had 4 against 1.
Oh,
right?
And
I mean, Sanikant still manages to outride them.
outsmarts all of them, basically. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I don't think they were riding as a team at all. I think they were. It's hard, and
every one of them had a chance to win it, so they weren't going to ride like a team.
The Belgian men have had similar problems because when all 4 of those, even though you got 4, when all 4 have a chance to win, it's really hard to ask them to work for somebody else.
Nor should they be expected to.
Yeah.
Now,
so, anyways,
if you're Lars van der Haar, you are going to. I mean, we saw, and I'm sure we're going to talk about this on Monday when we do TDD-TIE
with Bill.
With Bill, Lars van der Haar clearly was riding
as a teammate
in service to Matthew.
Yeah.
But again, he went into that race hoping to maybe top 5, whatever, or maybe to make a podium. He didn't go into that as much as everyone thinks they have a chance to win. He didn't go into that thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think he probably knew his chances of beating Wout and Tone would be small.
Yeah, right.
Would be small, even if Matthew wasn't there. So, anyways, my larger point I haven't gotten to yet.
Oh, sorry.
Also, if you watch earlier in that race, there's a pit exchange with Voss and Verst. They come in.
Yep.
They're very close,
side by side,
very close together.
Right,
almost wheel to. One of the worst things a rider can do is come in on somebody's wheel into the pit. Right.
It's almost better to sit up a little bit and slide back.
How can you make a bike exchange if somebody...
Especially when you're on the same team.
Yeah. So Verst is a little bit off Voss's wheel, which is okay. So she's giving them a little bit of space. But they barely get those bikes to those two.
Yeah.
Voss actually has to almost completely stop, completely loses her momentum, and has to get the bike and get it moving almost from behind her from a standstill and get going.
Yeah.
So
that cost her the race.
No, but my point is that, in my opinion, watching that race as a whole, what I see there is a team that has not practiced bike exchanges.
Yeah. Oh, by all means.
So
we talk about this all the time.
Yeah, they have just here's a situation, we talk about practicing bike exchanges. Some people poo-poo it a little bit. Doesn't seem like a real important thing. No. I think if you here is a shining example. Watch this race. Watch the Dutch team, and you will see a team that does not appear. If they have practiced it, they need to practice it more, I think.
Yeah.
But they're just not making good exchanges. There's confusion in the pit with with that whole thing. So when I've helped Marion pit at like nationals,
Marion the boss.
No, Marion the school, Marion University.
Yep.
They have a similar situation.
Right.
Granted, this is a collegiate team. I understand that it's not a national team at Worlds. So I'm just trying to make a comparison here. But they have a similar situation where they have 5 or 6 riders that are all usually very close together, usually at the front of the race because they're some of the best riders in the race, and are coming in groups, right? And so Michael Kabancic, who go all the way back to Bike Shop CX episode 2,
yes,
with our interview with him, there's been times when he's asked me, "Hey, can you help us on the pit?" Sure, jump in and they are so dialed,
and they're dialed in general.
They're dialed in general, sure, but I'm just comparing this situation. A team that has practiced this.
Right.
They've got spotters. They always know who's the next person coming.
Right.
Who's the next person that could even possibly come in the pit.
Right.
Their bikes are ready. As soon as they go by, if they come in or if they don't, they cycle out. They know who the next one is.
Yeah. That's a good
group,
point.
That group cycles
they'll
up.
have 5 bikes. They have 5 riders. They have 5 bikes in a box.
At least 5.
Yeah.
At least 5. Right. And they have it all down. And they have some riders that have the same backup bike or multiple of the same.
Right.
I mean, and they are completely dialed. So it can be done. My point is, it can be done. And the what you see in that pit is just not good. That is poor pit practice in general for the whole thing. So, so I mean, to say, it's this one mechanic. No, I'm sorry. There was mistakes all throughout that race.
Right.
That's what cost Lucinda Brand the overall win, in my opinion. And Sonic.
And whether it was mistakes or the power of Sonic Kant.
Yeah. To point to one of the many mistakes and say, this is the reason and it's this guy's fault, in my opinion, is very, very poor commentating. Very short, not thinking about the overall, what's going on here, and really not being aware of how pit exchanges work. I'm sorry.
Yeah, which was, and we talked about a little bit about this in the green room.
It is green,
which is a little bit surprising to some extent from Simon Burney. I mean, Amber Crossan is a good commentator, or one that we have said in the past. We like his race announcing.
Yeah, I've defended Ant against
a number
other people
of things,
that have attacked him many times, but I can't do it this
time. Simon, he's involved in, I thought he would have known better about the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, it's not the first incorrect thing that has been said on those broadcasts by either one of those guys.
Which is, and you and I both know that when you're trying to keep up with everything and say things live while it's happening, you're going to make mistakes.
Sure. But when you see the replay later, it's fine to say, oh, wait,
I didn't realize.
I didn't see that right.
Yeah.
Instead of
let it go. Make your comment.
Saying
let
that,
it go.
you say, "Oh, it's 100% for 100%. It's the mechanic's fault."
Yeah. No.
Anyway, all you got to do is say, "Oh, wait, I saw that wrong. That's the rider's fault."
Yeah.
They weren't clipped out of the pedal when they tried to deliver the bike. Oop.
Yeah. So just to come back, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a lot. It's been on the social medias. This is one place where when I am coaching my juniors, I point to Adam Meyerson often. Mm-hmm. That left foot, before you even unclick the right foot. Mm-hmm. When you're going off on the standard clean side dismount, the non-drive side dismount,
right.
That left foot's got to be clicked out first, put the center of your foot over the pedal, and there's no chance, whether you step through or step behind.
Yep.
And more people say now step behind than step through, but okay.
Either way,
that left foot should not be clicked into the pedal when you're dismounting the bike.
I remember way back in the day, this is like old bike shop show. I'm talking like episode 4 or 5 maybe. I had Rob Pulsifer on.
Yeah.
And he was preaching that.
Yeah.
This was at least 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah. There's so much bad and very little good that can happen if you do not unclick. So I see you're reaching out for your cup of coffee here. I guess it's time for transition.
cup of coffee. What are you drinking?
I don't know what you're drinking. I'm drinking Hello Cyclocross Friends.
Hello, Cyclocross Friends. I had full Schleck this morning. It's already empty.
It's already down to a half Schleck.
It's already empty. But we're talking about Grimpeur Brothers coffee. If you haven't tried it, get over, try some of the full Schleck.
Yeah, I think we're going to give some away today. If I'm not mistaken,
we are going to be giving some away. I'm excited. The Full Schleck and Hello Cyclocross Friends, they help support the Wide Angle Podium Network, which we are a part of. So support the network, support the show. Get over to GrimpeurBrothers.com or WideAnglePodium.com, and you can click on a link there to get you to Grimpeur Brothers, where you can buy some of those two coffees. You can buy any of the great Grimpeur Brothers coffee, but these two specifically help the network and help the show. So
and I mean, Dan, I always say this,
Dan
is the man. He's doing such great stuff down there in Texas. He's riding his bike. He's getting out there. No polar vortex where he is.
Right. So we last week we mentioned a contest where you had to post a picture of yourself enjoying some kind of caffeinated beverage, coffee bean-based beverage. And we got a bunch of good entries, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, and so we set it out then that the most likes would be... So 3 people, the top 3, are going to win some coffee from Dan.
Correct.
Right? And then 4th and 5th are going to win T-shirts.
Indeed. And those are cool T-shirts.
T-shirts from very cool T-shirts that he's made for this year. So awesome. Those are. I mean, there's no losers in that, right? It's all good. So all right, Mr. David Palin, you have the list there, and who the winners are, right?
I do.
All right. How do you want to do it? You want to do it from 5th up to 1st?
Yeah, we probably should.
All right. So let's start with who got 5th place and gets this T-shirt.
In 5th place at the bottom on the left side of the wide angle podium.
Yes.
We can say left side because you don't know if I'm saying facing us or whatever. On the bottom step on the ground on the 5th step, Mr. Craig North.
Craig North, friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod, local hero, Craig North.
Craig North. All right, Grimpeur Brothers T-shirt. There we go.
Yep. And in 4th place.
Yes.
Oh, I should have. I'm going to tell you what his Instagram handle was.
Yeah.
JBRSTL.
Oh, I know who that is.
You do?
Yes.
I think I do as well.
JBRSTL. Okay.
Yeah, so that is the ground on the either end of our podium.
So that's 4th place. So those are
your two T-shirt winners.
T-shirts. All right. And now the next 3 are all going to win some coffee. Some coffee,
yeah. And on the 3rd step,
which is so good, by the way.
Good.
Oh my God,
I know.
All right,
just smelling what little bit is left in your cup, I'm like, oh
man, I wish I had more.
Yeah.
All right, so 3rd place.
3rd place with the bronze medal in 3rd place, Dr. Cement.
Dr. Cement. I remember that. I remember that post. Yeah. All right. Good.
In 2nd place, the silver standard on the day.
Yes.
Another doctor. Tracy Berman.
Dr. Tracy Berman.
Another friend of the show.
Friend of the pod. Wide Angle Podium supporter. Yeah. She's amazing.
And she cheated, of course. She put a picture of Cedric. Who's not going to love that picture
of Cedric? A cute kid at a coffee shop.
All she needed was a puppy and Cedric, and things would have just blown up.
But she got a lot of likes for that.
She got a lot of likes for that.
So, but not the most.
No. The most. And in 1st place, your gold standard on the day.
Yes.
Try Russell.
Russell has sent questions to the Bike Shop CX show.
He's
many
been a
times.
big fan, big viewer of the show.
Big TNR tape user and supporter. So there you go, Russell. You know, it pays to be on it, right? That's right. But he had the most
may be able to just go over and get the coffee and not have to have it shipped, right? He's down in Texas too.
True. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. He had
Texas. How big is Texas?
Was he pushing 50 likes on that?
Yeah, almost.
Something like that. So well
on his way.
All right, man. Good job, Russell.
And thank you to our viewers. Thanks for everyone that was
thank you
involved.
For everyone that took the time to make a post. It was amazing. We loved looking at all those pictures, and I know Dan appreciated. He was having fun retweeting them and regramming them, I should say.
Right. Yeah.
And I think he put some on Twitter too or something. I don't know. But yeah, it was great. And there's our 5 winners, and we will contact Dan with that, and
we'll send our stuff along to him, and he'll be getting in touch with you guys.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, Mr. David Palin.
Yes, sir.
The other thing, tech-wise, I just wanted to mention really quick at Worlds, the new SRAM stuff that came out. the AXS. Have you looked at that stuff on their website?
I have.
Dude, a 50 on the rear wheel.
Yeah, and I don't know how much
amazing.
Eagle stuff you see in your
I've
mountain bike
seen
stuff.
Yeah, we're
And it
building.
looks
We
like-
actually
yeah.
have a 50 cassette at
Yeah.
the shop right now.
This stuff's crazy.
That stuff
Yeah.
is crazy. But one of the things I was looking at it. One of the things that's really gonna make it so you can have fewer bikes in a way, right? You think, okay, this stuff is expensive, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
but in a lot of ways,
the range that this gives you.
you can kind of, in some ways, eliminate an entire bike for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I don't need, I can just convert I can have different wheels that I put on, one with a 50 and one just a regular. So
It's like a 38 or something like that.
yeah.
Right?
So people know it's a 12-speed, the XG
Right.
1290 now for
Right.
SRAM. We've gone over how the SRAM numbering stuff works with the 1090, 1190, now the
Now
1290. It is an X-Dome cassette.
Right.
So this is the top end one.
Yeah.
And it requires the XDR
driver.
right driver body, which allows you to run a 10-tooth gear for people that don't understand.
A 10-tooth gear.
We can we can go over that in a little bit, but yeah.
I mean, that's
so-
almost as small a number of teeth in a. Never mind. Let's just not.
Well,
going
and the
down
other
that
thing
road.
is, people will be like, "Well, I don't need a 10. What would I ever use 10 for?" The flexibility that gives you is now you can run a really small ring,
right up front.
up front, so that
Yep.
you still can get some good top end speed because you only have a 10 in the back,
Yep.
and you can still get low torque at the one end and still get a decent amount of speed at the other end. So they're looking at a 1026, a 1028, and a 1033.
Mm-hmm.
Are the three design tooth gears choices that are on the website right now. So that's pretty cool. And that's the road stuff. And then you can, the thing that's so cool about it is it's cross compatible with the Eagle stuff.
Right.
And that's where you can get into the 50.
Right.
Which is just gonna be amazing.
So, but paired with that, now with that 10, you don't need as large a chainring up front.
Right.
And they are coming out with their new Quark chainring.
Yeah.
That is smaller, not just chainring, but
crank in general.
Crankset, thank you.
Yeah.
That's smaller,
which
allows for just tiny gear shift increments.
Yeah.
That you're not in that situation where we all get into where, oh, this gear's too hard, but this gear's too easy.
Yes.
What am I going to do?
Yes. And that's a much more common situation to be in with a 1x. Right. So to do anything to decrease that is helpful.
And
but
it's a 2x.
This can be run either way. This can be run as a 1x or
which
as
I
a
found
2x.
very interesting because SRAM has really been kind of pushing things towards the 1x.
Right.
And now they come out with a new 2x.
Well, it's both though. I mean, in
it
a way.
It can be run as a 1x.
Right.
Sure.
So I think that was kind of their ultimate goal that they've kind of achieved, at least from what I've seen. I haven't seen any of this firsthand, but it's looking like, man, you can really get down to just having one bike. Have you seen on the SRAM website, there's a picture of like a gravel bike, big fat tires, with a road setup, and it's got the 50, the Eagle 50 on the rear wheel, and like it looks like a 32.
It looks like a dork disc, right?
Right. It looks like a 32 on the front. You know?
Yeah.
It's just so cool looking. I think it's really interesting. This is all electronic, right? Electronic. Wireless
ETAP.
Yep.
They
all
revamped the ETAP, and of course, critical for racing cross now, they have a wireless dropper post.
So you can set up your left shifter to activate your
dropper
post if you're running a 1x.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's ideal right there. Yeah. Yeah, but
I'll tell you what though, if nothing else, it's a good battery holder for if your battery runs low on either the front or rear rear derailleur.
There you go.
You have an
extra.
Because chances are you're not going to be going up and down on that saddle that much.
That much, and not as much as you're shifting.
Right.
I hope not. If you're dropping and raising your saddle more than you're shifting the rear derailleur, you might be in some weird terrain. What kind of terrain would that even be?
I'm going to ride a single speed and not change anything but the saddle height.
Someone's running shifters on their single speed. Why do you got shifters? Satellite,
That's
man.
it, baby. Oh.
Oh, man. So anyways, we just wanted to mention that because that is a cool new innovation that came out. There were several people riding that at Worlds this past weekend. So
That being the E-Tap and not the dropper post as far as we know.
not the dropper post, the ETAP stuff, the AXS drivetrain that we were just talking about. So very cool stuff.
And we may indeed be getting back to that in a future show.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm going to look at this a little more as more and more information comes out.
Yeah, the
and we can
chain
talk
is
about it.
interesting,
I think
too.
all the Trek riders had it.
Yeah.
I think Yolanda Neff, Ellen Noble. I don't know if Emma Schwartz had it. I don't know. She's the only one I don't know for sure,
Yeah.
but I bet she did. She probably did. So there we go. All right, Mr. David Palin, are you ready to get to some viewer questions?
Yeah. No, these are viewers. Are they all wide-angle podium subscribers?
I don't know. I don't know if people are subscribers when they send a question. Why?
I was just kind of curious because I thought, we are brought to you by the wide-angle podium.
Yes.
I was trying to transition a little bit here,
You wanted to
segue
talk
a little
more
bit.
about wide angle podium?
I thought that would be a wise thing to do.
Yeah, we're part of the Wide Angle Podium Network, as people know.
Yeah.
Get over to wideanglepodium.com, check it out.
Listen
Become a
to
member.
other shows.
Listen to other shows. Listen to us on TDDTIE.
Yeah.
Listen to other shows. There's this gravel lot show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting all gravelly.
Getting all gravelly.
I listened to this show on my way over here today.
And something called The Slow Ride. That's
Don't know
over there.
about that one.
Yeah, I don't
Is that
listen-
new?
Just like Matthew Vanderpool, I don't listen to the Slow Ride podcast, so I don't know. Is that new? yeah, they're newcomers, so
No, I listened to that Mitch Docker show. Great job with those guys, man. They're getting some high end people. Still don't have George Hincapie yet.
All right, Mr. Dave Palin, let's
I'm
get
here.
to some viewer questions. We have a question from Justin.
Tell me what he says.
Justin says, I have a real question now. I recently acquired a vintage. This is a question for Mr. David Pound. A vintage cantilever
He says that because I'm old.
Raleigh RXC Pro frame. I had a 2012 RXC, but sold it when I started grad school, so I'm super excited to build this one up. Isn't that the case, right? It's like people that go and buy the car that they had in college,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When they become an old person and they actually have money to afford to restore something, they buy the car that they had in college or whatever.
That Mustang that you bought because it was the only thing you could afford.
Right. Now,
With 4 on the floor, right? And now the thing.
bikes can be the same,
Yeah.
is what we're saying. I still have 2.5 sets of rim brake tubular wheels, 1 carbon and 1 aluminum, so I guess I'll need to get used to swapping pads again, but I'm looking to round that up to 3. Swapping pads, because of his carbon and aluminum.
Right.
Okay. When I got my current disc brake bike, I tore down a set of tubulars and had the rims built up on disc brake hubs. Since then, I tried to sell the old hubs, but there isn't much demand for 32-hole Ultegra 6500 hubs. The industry just moves too fast, so it's time to take the 219 Wheel Building Challenge of the Universe.
Nice.
The 2019. That's the Bike Shop CX.
Bike Shop CX Wheel Build Challenge.
All right. I'm debating between building up an additional set of tubulars or building tubeless for maximum gravel grindage. If I were to build another set of tubulars using the same rims that I had before, Mavic Reflex, could I reuse the old spokes that I've saved?
The answer is no.
Would it be better to have my LBS cut new spokes to the same length instead? Could I have made this email shorter and saved you a ton of time? David answered the question.
Yeah.
No, you're going to have different spoke length probably that you need. And
Even if they were the exact same spoke,
I'd still put new ones in.
new spokes.
New spokes. Yeah. Don't save those because you never know when you might break one and you just got to have something for that weekend to get you through the weekend.
Right.
And, okay, I got one here that can work.
Yeah.
It'll get me through the weekend and I'm going to lace it up real quick and then replace it. So save those. Don't get rid of them. But I would. Get all new spokes in that sucker. So, and you'll probably have to have new ones because
Chances are you're going to need different lengths, but
just
don't reuse
Yeah,
spokes.
just avoid doing that as much as possible. So,
Yeah.
All right. The next question we have. Are you ready for this one? It's kind of a
Yes.
question. It's kind of a question, but then it answers itself. So,
those are our favorite questions.
this is from the person from our contest, the second place finisher in the Grimpeur Brothers
That'd be
contest.
Doctor of Dirt
Dr.
herself.
Tracy Berman.
Dr. Tracy Berman.
She's everywhere, man.
We can't get away from her.
I know. Man, it says. I don't know. She might not have wanted me to read this on the show, but sorry, Tracy. All right. Dear Scotty D and Mr. David Palin, a gentleman showed up for the tour of Sufferlandria at our indoor training studio with a brand new Trek Emonda. The problem being that we ride on Wahoo kickers, drivetrain-driven smart trainers, and he has a disc brake model and therefore a through axle. Luckily, he has a power meter on his bike, and I let him borrow my son's Feedback Sports Omnium, so he is still able to join in the suffer.
Man, that Omnium is a great
That's
trainer.
just one of the reasons why the Omnium is so awesome. My coach,
I will say that the kicker does have through axle capabilities and compatibilities. I don't know what the story was here, but you can use through axle bikes on the kicker.
My coach also has some Wahoo Snaps wheel on Smart Trainer, so I borrowed the kinetic through axle adapter from my husband's bike, but it didn't work with the Emonda. Even though both bikes have 12 millimeter through axles, it seems like the threading wasn't the same. I now see that the box for the through axle adapter says fine threaded T-2100. Are there a limited number of standards for through axles, or is this a lawless technology?
Yes.
With disc brake technology spreading to road bikes, this seems like a source of headaches. With love and a bit of mud. Dr. Tracy
We
Berman.
all love Dr. Tracy Berman.
So then the next day, I get another email from Tracy. She says, never mind. I found episode 14 with Emily. I remember listening to it while doing strength training in a hotel gym when I was traveling for a conference. I apparently wasn't paying enough attention. I'm worse than an undergrad. Will this be on the exam? That's Tracy. So Tracy kind of, she got her own answer. Yes. Yeah. Through axles right now is the Wild West.
Yeah.
Right. There's gunslinging going on all over the place.
Mudslinging, gunslinging.
Everybody's still thinking that their system is the best.
Yep.
And none of them, and very few of them work together. So, like when you're building up that Raleigh frame, right?
Yeah.
What did we have to? It didn't have a through axle.
It did not have a rear through axle.
And so the only really way to figure it out is
measure it.
Well,
No,
you gotta call Raleigh and be like, what through axle does this use?
Yeah. Or some sites, for instance, Robert Axle Project.
Yep. They can.
Axle Project. You can go through there and say, this is the year, this is the model, this is whatever.
They have like a calculator or a database that can tell you what. It's just like a derailleur hanger, right?
Yeah.
You gotta go figure out the one that you need. The problem. It's not just the thread that's the problem.
It's not just the thread count
either. It's not just the thread, course then what the the TPI or whatever is for the threads, but it's the overall length of the through axle.
Correct. Right.
Because even though your rear spacing, you got a 12 by, she mentioned 12, so you got a 12 by 142, which has kind of become the standard rear spacing.
That's inside to inside, right?
Exactly. That's the spacing on the inside of the frame. So, but the through axle has to thread through the frame, right? On both sides and come out both sides of the frame. So, frames are different at that point, right? Once you get beyond the spacing,
the thickness of the dropout is going to matter.
Drops is different and all that stuff. So even if the threads were the same, you'd still have all these different length through axles. So I don't see there becoming a real good standard for this in the near future.
No.
It's going to take everyone committing. I mean, look how long it took just to get some tubeless standards, and there's still not
multiple.
just one,
right?
And so I think
here we are with bottom brackets, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's going to be like bottom brackets. It's just you're going to have to constantly know which ones you need, and that's I am mentioning the rat. Right, that's a whole nother thing, right? With no threads, right? So, it's just it's the Wild West. So it sounds like Tracy got it figured out. So,
Dr. Tracy's got things figured out,
and she answered her own question. But I still want to include because it's a really good question.
It is.
It's just,
and it also tells us and reminds us which show it was. What was it? 14.
14. Yeah.
Go back, listen to that.
Emily Kleinglass at Sweet Bikes.
Sweet Bikes.
So. We also got a not really a question from Jeff. He sent us some pictures from Worlds, Mr. David Palin. Look at this.
Yeah, you were showing those to me in the green room. Those are some snappy snaps.
Yeah, so awesome, Jeff. Thank you for sending us those. Those are very, very, very cool.
As I remember in the last show, we asked for pictures, and not any pictures send us, especially if you send us small pictures, right?
Yeah, don't send me like full size poster size stuff.
Yeah,
please, if you're gonna send pictures, edit them a little bit. At least like make them half size or something. Yeah, that's very helpful.
And we also asked for people to give us a shout out that would be willing to admit that they took their bikes and put them away wet.
Well, we're gonna get to that.
Are we?
Yeah, you're jumping the gun, Mr. D. See, this is what happens when you try and drive.
Yeah.
All right. The another question that we're saving this one till Monday when we're back on with Bill.
Yeah.
We've mentioned Dan from Grimpeur Brothers.
We did.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got a really funny thing for us to do.
Okay.
And we're going to save this for TDDTIE and talk about it there. But I just wanted to, since he emailed it to us.
So are we going to tease it here? Or are we going to even read it?
All right. So Dan, I'll kind of give the gist. I won't read it word for word. Dan, and this is great. I think this is going to be hysterical. And we should do it. I don't think we're going to do it on Monday. We're going to read it on Monday and then do it maybe on the next show if Bill wants to. He's saying basically that now that we've got the Fayetteville, for people that don't know, Cyclocross Worlds in 2022, Fayetteville, Arkansas, coming back to the U.S. For Cyclocross Worlds, Fayetteville, Arkansas. So Dan is asking us, he loved our prediction show on TDDTIE that we do every year.
Right.
So he is asking us this year to make predictions for the podiums of the 2022 Worlds.
I'll predict the junior podium now.
That would be very hard. All right, Dad, we're gonna see about doing that with Bill. We're gonna ask Bill's permission and see if he's into doing that. So there we go. All right. So our last question for the day. Are you ready, Mr. David Palin?
I'm ready.
This is Jay from the Bronx. I love this.
Yeah.
And you're right. Last time we asked people to be honest, come clean.
Right. And how many people did we have? How many people did we have that are honest?
One. Jay, you should be proud.
Yeah.
You should be proud. You are the one person who actually emailed and lived up to it. So, all right, Jay says Scotty D and Davey P. I love it. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay.
Longtime viewer, first-time writer. Love you both. Love what you do. Just taking a moment to fully admit my shortcomings. After the last race of the season, I did, in fact, hose off not one, but two bikes and have not touched either one of them since that day.
So congratulations on hosing them off.
He says, now, in my defense, having spent the 2018 season racing in what can only be described as Mudageddon.
Mudageddon, I love it. I love it.
I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that I would be replacing every moving part on my machine, so there was no real rush to make it pretty. That process has begun this week. I will keep you up to date on the process. Thank you for shaming me into action, Jay from the Bronx.
Nice, Jay. I hope that all the parts come out. Sometimes they like rust all together and you can't get them out.
Well, that is the one problem that it could be. I mean, it probably dried okay. It's it's probably okay. And you know what, Jay? I think that is a good defense. And that is one.
It was a conscious decision,
right? If you know, look, every bearing in this bike is blown out anyway. There's no real rush at that point.
Here, Jay, the next thing you should do, I want you to take a recorder. Right, and just on your phone,
the
whatever.
Swearing that you're gonna
that too, but record as you turn the bike around over and over. I want to hear the sand and dried mud just as it falls through the frame,
trickles out of the frame as you do. So we'll see. Yeah, Jake, keep us informed because I want to see if there's something like really crazy, like you take the crank out and there's still water in your bottom bracket, then you're gonna go, oh
no,
maybe I should have done something. But no, Jay, thank you for being honest.
We love our viewers, man. We love our viewers.
We love our viewers. And if anybody else still wants to email this in, We might
Sure.
be getting emails of people that have been in August.
Right, that's
we
true.
might be getting emailed. Yep, I haven't touched my bike
Yeah.
since I posted off at the end of.
Yeah.
So in a way, Jay, you're getting a jump on some people.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for
People
sure.
are going to start doing training rides come, right? Late summer. And it's like, oh, get back on my cross bike. Oh, the pedals don't turn.
All right. Well, that is it for questions, Mr. David Palin. I think that's going to wrap it up for this show. If people, did you have anything else? Or are you good?
I think I'm good.
All right. If people want to get
I'm not driving.
If
You're
people,
driving.
If people want to get in touch with you on social media, what's the best way to do it?
At Mr. David Palin.
On
Instagram and on Twitter.
and Twitter. And you can get a hold of me, Scott Diedenbach, at Bike Shop CX on both Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to follow my non-cycling Instagram account where I post mostly vinyl stuff, I
Yep.
post a little bit of the recording equipment that I use, some cat pictures,
Yeah.
of course, because cats are awesome, but mostly vinyl and records and stuff. That is just Scott at Scott Not Bikes.
And some inner workings of some equipment I noticed.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah. Oh, taking stuff like fixing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some of the old receivers that I have. I like just simple stuff. I mean, I'm no electronics guy,
Not
but
yet.
I can replace light bulbs and stuff.
And
Which is not
you
as,
say
it's
that.
not
You
as
say-
easy
I was
as
gonna- I was
replacing a
gonna
light
say,
bulb in your house. You have to
when
solder
you have to take a
connections.
soldering iron out to change a light bulb.
Yeah, that's right.
saying something.
It does involve a little bit of,
Yeah.
of knowing what you're doing. So yeah, that's all fun, and that gets posted on there. So yeah, it'd be cool if people want to check us out. All right, Mr. David Palin, I think we're done.
Yeah, and with that, the bike shop, she's closed.
Until next time. All right, and that is the show for this week. I hope everybody dug it. We'll be doing our full post-Worlds show. And they don't do that in Europe coming up, where we kind of look at all the races and our podium picks, see how well we all did this year with our picks. I know I didn't do as good as last year, and we'll see how David and Bill did too on the next They Don't Do That in Europe. I think we're scheduled to record that early next week, so look for that coming soon. Get on over to Wide Angle Podium, give us some love, become a member. We always appreciate that. Get over to Grimpeur Brothers, buy some of the full Schleck or some of the Hello Cyclocross Friends Espresso. You will not be disappointed, and you'll be supporting the network too. So, all right, I think that's it for this week. I hope everybody dug it. As usual, if you are getting out there and riding, I know it's cold, but if you are getting out there and riding, be careful out there. Take care of each other out there. And until next time, the bike shop is closed.